Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to see what is brain and what is mind and what is the connection between brain and mind. Dear all, in the subject cognitive science, the role of brain is very much studied from teaching learning point of view. So, as students of cognitive science, you know the structure and function of the brain, and especially the structure of the brain, where does it lie, what are the main parts of the brain, and what is the role of the brain in teaching and learning and all. Now, brain is very much connected with mind. Suppose if I ask you, where is your brain? You will say, brain is here on my head. And suppose if I ask you, where is your mind? And some people will say, oh, here it is. Some people will say, mind is in the heart, isn't it? Like that. But what is mind, and what is the role of brain, and what is the connection between brain and mind, that we are going to see here. See this picture. Two students, they are studying with their father, and their brain is at work, or we can say their brains are in action, isn't it? And the father's brain is also monitoring the students' studies, or what is happening, how they are working out, like that. So, whether their brain is at work or their mind is at work, definitely their brain is working. So now we can see this picture, the scanning techniques of brain. Nowadays, with the help of brain imaging techniques and scanning techniques, we can see what are the parts which are responsible for learning, and we can identify with the help of our scanning techniques. There are many scanning techniques like EEG, MRI, fMRI, and CET scans, like that. But some scans are especially helpful to find out the function of the brain. For example, the functional MRI. MRI will give the structure of the brain. It will help to detect is there any limitation in the structure of the brain, or is there any fault, is there any problems in the structure of the brain. Whereas the fMRI helps us to find, is there any function, that is the function connected with the brain and its parts. Suppose if a person is solving the problem, which part of the brain is responsible for problem solving or comprehension, and if he is drawing, which part is involved in the drawing, like that. It is possible nowadays to find out the oxygen absorbed by the brain parts, and from that it is possible. Now is it possible to find where the mind lies in our brain? That is the question. So even some people used to joke, isn't it, where is your mind? If somebody asked us, mind your business, suppose if they tell this, we will be very much upset. And some people said, I don't mind, this is nothing, like that. So what is this word, particular term, mind and brain? We can see in Google a lot of PPTs and lot of articles regarding brain versus mind. What is brain and where is mind, where does mind lie, like that. And actually speaking, we have to be very thankful to the Almighty, because He has created a very amazing organ, that is brain. This particular organ is responsible for all our behavior, isn't it? Suppose if I behave properly, it is the result of the brain functioning. Suppose if somebody is not behaving properly, then it is not their fault, because their brain is not up to the mark and there is some problem in their brain, like that. This amazing organ is responsible for our behavior, our decision, our thinking, our emotion, everything. So everything is possible with this organ, that is brain, which is 1.4 kg approximately, and it is the 2% of the body weight of total body weight. So how this conglomerate of matters. Actually brain is matter, that is we can see the brain, we can feel where it is, and this is physical aspect of the brain, that is physiology, isn't it? But the activities that are going inside our brain, like thinking, like problem solving, our decision making, our emotions, that we cannot see. We can see the brain, but how these activities are going inside the brain, that we cannot see. That is called our mental world, isn't it? So if some students inside in our classroom, if they are physically present and mentally absent, we will ask, hey, where is your brain? Where are you indulging in a dream? Like that we used to ask questions to our students, because they will be physically present inside the classroom, but they will be mentally indulged somewhere else outside the classroom with their friends, with their people, or with whatever they want to go out. Like that they will be thinking of something. So that is the mental world. So nobody can see the mental world. Even our own mental world we can feel, but we cannot see physically. So brain is a physical substance, brain is a physical organ from which lot of things, the mental operations like thinking, emotions, even our moral values. Somebody will say, I will not lie in my life, throughout my life I will not lie, I will follow these values, that values. Like that we used to say, all the good and moral values are originating in from our brain. So if we want to understand the philosophy of mind, we have to study and we have to view from many subject, many disciplines. For example, from computer science of point of view, now the brain is compared to a computer, isn't it? Because computer we can see and we know the function of the computer, how it functions, and like that a computer scientist always compare the brain with the computers. And now they are bringing the superpower computers and all. Now they want to make the computers intelligent, isn't it? That is called artificial intelligence. So we have to study mind from computer science point of view, from philosophical and neuroscience. Neuroscience now it is with the help of technology, with the help of science and technology, advent of technology, now we know the functioning of the brain up to say 10 to 20%. So now brain is very much important from linguistic aspect also, and cognitive science is nothing but studying brain and its functions from many interdisciplinary approach. Like that, if we want to understand the philosophy of mind, we have to understand and we have to view the brain and mind from many interdisciplinary aspect. So mind is very much attached or very much connected with the psychological notion, that is psychology, psychological aspect. Brain is nothing but a physical entity, and whatever happens in our brain is nothing but behavior. So the cognitive and neuroscientific aspect of discipline defines mind most of the time from psychological point of view. So it is the behavioral aspect. And so in short, now we can say brain is the structure, whereas mind is its function. So when the brain is in its action, when the brain performs its action, it is called mind. Brain has variety of function, isn't it? Brain is responsible for all our thinking, all the mental operation. So brain is the structural unit of the mind, whereas mind is the functional unit of the brain. So we can list out the differences between brain and mind like this. We can see the brain, we can there is a brain has its weight, brain has a lot of parts, whereas we cannot see the mind. Mind is the functional aspect of the brain, all the mental operations that we call it as mind. Like that we can list out. So there are many theories regarding the mind, and each and every theory is formulated based upon their understanding. For example, Descartes says brain and mind is considered as two different entities. This is called Cartesian version, and brain is different and mind is different. But whatever happens in our brain, it will affect the mind also. So brain is physical, whereas mind is non-physical. So it is not possible to see the mental operations, when the heart functions, or when the kidney is functioning, when the liver is functioning, we know both the structure and function. We can see to some extent how the heart is pumping, how blood is circulated, everything. But when we see the brain, it is not possible to understand how the brain is performing the action. For example, if I solve a difficult problem, I know how I solved, but what are the ways and steps that I have solved the problem, that I cannot see, isn't it? I cannot see. I can feel how I solved the problems. Suppose a maths teacher is working on the board, and the maths teacher is teaching his students how to solve the problems step by step. We can understand the steps, but how the maths teacher's brain is working, we can't. So in short, we can say mind is the brain's action, and mind, we cannot see the mind because it is invisible and also unaudible. So brain is the physical phenomena, whereas the thinking, the thought, how the intelligence is working in your mind, that we cannot see. For example, if some physical object is kept before us, we can see. For example, I can see an elephant and I can say that it is an elephant. But if I have a mental picture of an elephant, that I cannot, nobody can see my mental picture also. So in short, we can say brain and mind are two different entities according to Cartesian theory, that is Descartes. And the brain is the physical substance, physical entity, that is a tangible object, whereas mind is the non-physical, and we can say it is a metaphysical aspect, that whatever goes inside the brain is the mind. Like this, we have many theories and many arguments, and many from the day onwards, that is from olden days, starting from we can say Aristotle, Plato, the birth of man. People are thinking, what is brain, what is mind? Even sometimes people used to think in the olden days, kidney and heart, they are responsible for our intelligence and thinking, like that. So there are many arguments about brain and mind, and this is one of the theories, that is theory of identity. It is originated in Australia, and according to this theory, brain and mind are the same. Brain and mind are the same, they are one. So this says the theory of identity. And there is another theory called classical monism. According to this theory, states that like identical theory only, brain and mind are the same. And there are some more theories like physicalism, which says the brain is of physical in nature, as already I told you, and mind is mental in nature. Brain is the physical world and mind is the mental world. Then there is one more famous theory of mind that says dualism. That means both are different. The mind is a physical thing, and brain is the physical aspect, and mind is the non-physical, whereas the mental aspect. Like this, there are many psychological theories. According to, there are many schools of psychology, isn't it? Among that schools, behaviorism started in 19th century, and many scientists or many educationists and psychologists are responsible for starting this behaviorism. And according to behaviorism, brain is the physical entity and the behavior of the brain is called mind. Like that, identity theory also says like that. So human beings behavior is called mind. Whatever they think, they will behave according to their thinking, their emotions, their understanding, their attitude and their values. So this is called mind according to the behaviorist theory. Like that, we have many other theory. That is another school of psychology, that is called functionalism. Brain is the structure, whereas the mind is the function. We know lot of organs are working in our body. We have many important organs, isn't it, like heart, lungs, liver, kidney and all. So the function of the heart is responsible for circulation, and it is the heart is the structure and circulation is its function. And like that, we can, there are many organs, we can have the structure as well as the function. Whereas brain, when we take the brain, we can see only the brain, but the function of the brain is not unraveled. That is, only 10% of the working of the brain is known because of the tiny and units of the brain called neurons. We cannot see the function of the neurons because brain is made up of neurons only, and the neurons are very tiny structure. Whatever happens in our brain, the mental activities, the brain is functioning based upon the neurons. How this neuron functions, it is even today it is not completely known. The neuroscientists are struggling hard to understand the function of the brain. That's why brain is the structure and mind is the function. When we completely understand, 100% understand how the brain is functioning, then we can say this is mind and this is the function of the brain. So in short, we can say mind is the structure and brain is the function. And now the computer scientists, they compare mind and with computers, and they consider the brain as a computing machine. Like computer performs its function with the help of computation and other aspects, now they view brain as the computer and mind its function. So mind is viewed as the pure function of the brain. So that is the, now we are living in the era of information and communication technology. Brain is mostly viewed as a computer. So whatever goes inside the brain, it is called the mind. So brain is the structure and mind is its function. So now we can understand we are living in the era of artificial intelligence. On seeing the brain's biological intelligence, the people, the computer scientists, they would like to bring the intelligence in the machines also. So they now they are studying, bringing the machines as intelligent objects. So now they are going to see that with the help of robots and other things, that they are going to bring out the intelligence of the brains, human brains inside the computers. But brains cannot be compared with a computer. Brain has enormous powers than the computer. But anyhow, brain is viewed as a computer and mind its function, the thinking function, the emotional aspects, the values, everything they are going to bring, they are tried to bring inside the computer. But Almighty is great that He has created human beings with enormous power that is called the brain. So dear friends, so far we have viewed brain and mind and what is the relationship and differences between brain and mind, and what is the synchrony between brain and mind. Definitely we can come to the conclusion that brain is the structural aspect, whereas mind is the functional aspect. So thank you so much.